All right, so this is the most non-musical introduction I've done ever. And there's a reason for that. So I've done this review about 3 times. The first time I did this review, I was heavily in my Ben Jordan energy. And I was very upset at the unit itself. And for this very reason, the sampling isn't up to snuff. Chopping samples on here is really bad. Let me show you why. All right, so I'm going to show you why all the other reviews did not do anything to show you how to chop samples and whatnot. So function and this button right here will bring you into pool. So it will show you sample. You just select the sample or whatnot. And I don't know why in the world they would choose that over, being able to pull something up in like the drum track. That would make sense, kind of like a kayak, because the drum track will do something that I'm talking about. So if you want to preview a sample or whatnot, you would have to move over to the left using the directional pads, which feel good. I ain't gonna lie. I do like that aspect of it. I'm just gonna use this sample right here. You will hit OK, and then you choose chop. So when you go to this chopping process, you have either manual chopping or auto slice. So it's going to go through a process, and yes, that's another thing. It takes a minute to process the sample or pull it up inside of it. Okay, so you have the choice of either doing manual slice or auto slice. I'll just do auto slice for the moment here. And the sensitivity is at 6, and it will do the auto slicing and whatnot. What I'll do is adjust that. I will adjust the value of the slices here. So, cause I only want to do 4 at this particular time for this right here. Then you get, create split files, store this to this project, store to a new project. I just do store to a new project. And then you get to pick everything. So everything's pretty smooth from this point on until you realize that once you go next, and then it goes through the processing or whatnot, which I'll probably have to cut from here. Now that it's done, then you'll start to see what I'm getting upset about. So it's quite clear what the issue is. Instead of putting it into all 4 of those tracks and being a one shot, which doesn't give you much options at all, it needs to be in a drum track, similar to how the MPC works, to where, in a sense, you can have access to choke groups. That's just one of the issues. The next issue that I had with this unit here probably has to do with, just going over here to tempo and adjusting it is not that big of a deal, but just that window closing like that while you're adjusting the tempo is kind of annoying. But you should be able to hold it down and it not disappear. You don't have any global swing. Why on earth would any groove box not have global swing? So loading one shots, while we're going to talk about global swing in a second, is not that bad. Now, all you have to do is simply just select, one of these clips and then just go to shot. Then you go from there. Then I'm going to go home and then go to pool and select the sample. And I'll continue to do this process as I go through pool. So I'm going to go and just grab another sample from somewhere. I'm just going to go into one of my kits or whatnot. So I'll go into fly low right here, and then I'll, just grab a kick. So let's hear I'll grab that kick right there. That's cool. Load. And then you just have to hit that again and make sure that you load it, because you can change the parameters and stuff like that on the fly, which is something that you can't even do with... Oh my God, I'm so upset about that. So I'm gonna go to, matter of fact, let me exit out, and I'm gonna select another track so I can get enough room to finger drum. Yeah, so I'm gonna go and rinse and repeat and do the process, and then we'll be back. One thing I will give it a compliment about is definitely the pads do feel good. Of course they're tiny, but I'm good with that because they do feel better than the SP404. And they're surprisingly more active than a lot of bigger groove boxes. So that's not what we're talking about. What we're going to go ahead and do is go into function and system here. And that's not functioning system. Oh, there, yeah, it is. So go over here and we got to set up a metronome. You can set up a pre-count and you have to set up the volume and all that. That's cool, but it would make more sense to do that from, another menu. And I'll show you that menu in a second. It would make more sense to do it from the tempo menu or some other menu, or just hitting like a hotkey of some sorts. Because, dude, like, why should I have to go through all that stress? But I digress. We're going to get the pre-count, record, and then it says shot record. Click that, and I guess press play. That's 4 bars. All right, so from here, I would just have to turn off metronome off, and that kind of kills, if you need to use metronome, just to get like your drums off. Performance-wise, it would be pretty painful to do that. So I would recommend doing a quicker hotkey of some sort. Anything would be better than what it is set up right now for recording. In that sense, like if I had to press the pencil sign and whatnot, in which you can see, you can do some quick editing right here. So that's the purpose of the pencil sign, is that you can, erase different parts. And I had to press record to erase things. So, and it's not active. And I'm on the hi-hat track. And from here, you can do extra things too. Like, let me see. Let me get up out of that. And then I can mess with different parameters. You can adjust stuff in here. You can adjust the send. You can send sends. Then you can do micro timing, which makes no sense whatsoever that you got to mess with micro timing in here like that. Like, why? Why? And the other problem, which you will notice, or you haven't noticed, there is no way to unquantize, or just not to have quantize on. It's just on, and you have to do micro timing per track. Why? And I know my audience, I know they're going to say off top that I'm being picky about this thing right here. No, I like it a lot. There's a whole bunch of things that it does good. However, the simple list of things from sample chopping and all of that, as far as like choke groups and stuff like that, don't exist in this unit, and it's $400. This is $400. So what's going to stop someone from buying this right here when it already has what this is missing? Outside of the fact that this doesn't have a screen. I'm going to tell you right now, this having a screen does not make it better than this right here if it has all the basic functionalities that many people that would chop samples would like to use, like in my audience. My audience they like that type of stuff, right? And this right here is, I believe, $600. Sometimes I see it for like $500, might be $600 due to inflation. It has everything that these two don't. And it has more functionality too at that. And bruh, you already know the vibes here. I'm not a fan of Teenage Engineering at all. But if they have a $99 sampler that can chop samples with choke groups, and you can use, like, you can unquantize, and it has global swing, I would tell people to get this. It's $99, guys. So that's my biggest dilemma when it comes down to the Smpltrek. It's lacking features that every other drum sampler has. Other than that, though, I think this piece of kit here is decent at best. Like being able to sequence MIDI and stuff like that, like the ability to sequence MIDI, like right here, like being able to do that. And then you can draw in your MIDI, you can play MIDI like on here. Like, I'm going to show you that, it has some good things about it. Like, you can change stuff like length of notes, scale settings, and, those are things that are welcomed. Welcome, in my opinion, changing the key, changing that. And, like, it does have some good things about it that are worth highlighting. But when you can't get over the fact that you bought something for that particular feature, it's upsetting, to be honest. So, just trying to be as professional as possible. Hopefully Sonicware will watch this video and understand where I'm coming from. As someone that likes to chop up samples, those are my main gripes about it, and not necessarily how it functions. Like being able to sequence out something if you're not chopping up a sample, if you're trying to play stuff out, those are brilliant things. Like I think Loop Pop did a fantastic job of, it's displaying the things that it excels at. However, I'm not going to be that when it's something that I thought and I did a whole entire reaction video for. And I hold myself fully accountable for hyping something up without being able to touch it. Like people thought I was a part of the project, which again, I don't see why, Sonicware wouldn't have reached out to me way before, October and sent me a unit just for me to give them great advice on how they should treat the firmware. However, I like Sonicware a lot, and I appreciate all of the stuff like the Liven series and the price point of the Liven series. I look forward to buying a FM Liven soon, or whatever it's called. Dude, let's get this sampler straight. Like, let's get it straight, so everybody can enjoy it, especially people that watch my channel consistently for sample-based production.